Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Darwin. In this video, I'm going to be covering entries and exits, showing you guys the best possible way to enter in the market, or when is the best possible way to get into the market, where you can feel like you got in at the lowest area or the highest area. In this example, I'm going to be going over Euro USD because I've recently placed entries on Euro USD. Some buy entries, and I want to explain how I got them. They're pretty fire entries. Also had sell entries up here last week, riding Euro USD down, and buy entries over here, all at the lowest points possible. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do that. So first things first, in order to get good entries, you have to do it on a lower time frame. There's no way possible you can do it on a bigger time frame because things are a lot slower. So you definitely want to go into smaller time frames so you're able to gather more data and more detail. So I'm going to cover this one first because this is the most current one. But here we are. The style that I trade is trendline breaks. Once I see a trendline break, that tells me that a pair is ready to transition. May not be right then and there, but it is gearing up to do so. So here we are. We have a nice trend line over the top, like so. Zoom out just a tad bit. So we got a nice trend line over the top. Clearly sellers in control this whole entire time coming through here. But look what happens. This trend line is broken based off this candle right here. And I believe, let me get it a little bit more on point, because it was more up like this. Okay, that's what it was. So this candle right here pretty much broke out of that trend line. Once that trend line was broken, that tells me that price is ready to transition and start taking up to the other side, to the upside. So trend line break there. And one key thing to keep in mind or notice in this whole entire area is your level of support right here. So this is the first level of support in this area. Price bounced here and couldn't really break beyond it, shooting this up, breaking the trend line, and allowing us to get this first transitional move that's about to occur. So first things first, price finds this floor and shoots up. Now, there's a couple things you can do. You could take your fibs and you can go from that lowest point up into that highest point and track this whole entire movement. Knowing that you have a trend line break, you would know in this whole area you're looking for buys overall. A key thing that I like to do is take a box where price was rejected, this whole rejection area, and drag it straight across, because that tells me that's strong enough for buyers to come in and take over that area and do what they have to do. So having that yellow zone right there like that, I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Now we're able to see we're near level support, and we have a nice demand zone in this area as well. Seeing that those two are so close together, that makes it much more powerful when candles actually come in this area. Now, based on the 1 hour, you could see all kinds of buying opportunities alongside here. You could have bought here with the rejection towards the low here. You could have bought here. If I break it down into the 30-minute, which is where I catch most of my entries, 30, 15 minutes, stuff like that. You could have caught an entry as low as in here based off this zone. Remember, we drew the zone. Nothing's breaking out of it. As long as you didn't see anything break out of it, you could have got in here. Another opportunity off this engulfing here. Another opportunity. Just highlight these. So many opportunities you could have got in based off you guys putting all of this stuff together. Trend line break. Then you're waiting on that retest area. Once it comes into that retest area, you have that level of support. You also have a nice zone alongside that area. So you have all these signals, all these clues as to why you should be buying as low as possible in this area. And keep in mind, if I were to zoom out into the H4, you're also in a lower low type area. Price has found this same area of support so many times here, 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 and it's finding it here again. So this isn't a bad buy overall, especially with that trend line being broken. So keep that in mind. When it comes to getting entries, know where you're at. Don't be afraid. Don't be impatient and not wait for a trend line break and a retest, because it gives you so many opportunities. Even on the H4, you have an opportunity here as well. So that's one way you could have got in. How I caught the entry last week was based off this level of resistance right here. As you guys see, I go off this area here where price came up here, touch there. And if I start to zoom in into the H1, same kind of case, same scenario, trend line break. This is last week's entry. Had a nice trend line right there. So everything that was staying above there was that buy zone. Once this kind of broke through, that let me know a trend line break. That's my technique, the style that I like to trade. Trend line break right there gives me an entry opportunity along here. Now, going into further detail, if I were to take a level of support here, which it was, once price broke above, support, finally broke through. Once it broke this trend line, this is my retest area. Gives you a nice entry opportunity along here. Now, as I break this thing down into like the 30-minute, you'll see even more detail alongside this whole area. Real quick. So as we go into the 30-minute, we see the same thing, same level of support. Once it's broken, don't panic if you didn't get that move. Don't panic if you didn't catch it right then and there. It usually comes around, gives you a nice retest opportunity, especially once you see that it's broke your trend line. You would automatically be knowing in your head it's going to drop, because anything underneath the trend line is a sell zone. We already know that. You know that based off going through the course. So always keep these kinds of things in mind. And first entry opportunity that I see, or that I actually got, I was actually in up here based off this level of resistance and then breaking a retest. So I had entries along here. But if you wanted to be patient and wait on that perfect entry off that retest, this would have been a nice entry here on this 30-minute, breaking it down even into a 15-minute. Early bird gets the worm. So you're ahead of every other trader if you're on this lower time frame. Cool entries here as well. You know, not too much big of a difference, but this is a nice entry here as well. You know, nice spike to the high, fake everybody out. You could have caught there if you really wanted to be savage and break it down into the 5-minute. See if it allow me to go back. You see a nice double top here. You knowing that the trend line already been broken. Remember I said anything on the 5-minute, lower time frames like that, it always will go above that level of resistance or beneath that level of support and have its own time frame support and resistance. So here it is. First touch there, couldn't break it. Boom, perfect entry there. And then, you know, just let it ride out. So you could have caught an entry here. Zoom out into 1 hour. So you guys what that would have been looking like. Voila, you could have had entries all up in there. I actually had entries there and entries there. So that's pretty much how I enter in the market. It's pretty simple. Especially if you're intraday trading, using a 1 hour, you can really benefit from doing this type of stuff. When it comes to exiting, you always go for that first level of resistance. So such in this area here, it's a nice level of resistance right there based off this trend line break. Also, you could go by the fibs as your exit. Here's the first push. Here's the highest point right here. going all the way into 100% retracement level. So our first TP would be 0%, then negative 27%. Beyond that for our exits for these type of trades. I wanted to cover one more entry that I was able to capture on GBP NZD. And as you guys see, same concept. Every time it's same thing. Nothing is changing. I caught a sell entry. All right, first I'm going to break it down into the 4 hour. Show you guys this nice trend line here, right there. You get a nice trend line break. You know, usually when trend line breaks, you don't always have to catch it as soon as it breaks. You know, some people have that panic thing like, oh man, I gotta catch it right there. No, it's always going to come and give you some kind of retest. May not be a significant one, but it's going to come give you some kind of retest. So in this case, it came up, gave you a retest along this area. As you guys see, I already had this broken down. Nice level of support here. Found that resistance. These are your first entry opportunities. Actually ended up getting in right here. Caught this whole drop to right here. Ended up exiting. But that's cool. If you missed that, it's cool. It's gonna give you another opportunity. What I have right here is this yellow zone. I find this yellow zone based off this little bitty higher low right here, where buyers came in along this area. I drag it into the future like this, and I have buys alongside here right now. Based off this area, as you guys see, when it came down there, spike came right here, spike, nice buy zone, demand zone, and this whole area. That's how you get those good entries, knowing where you're at, either catching retests or catching those first areas of support or resistance. As you guys see, this is the main level of support. Right here, bounce, there, shot up. See? That's all you're looking for when it comes to this stuff. It's nothing complicating. So breaking it down into even smaller time frame, you guys see this zone is being respected. Nice something pretty there. And it may very well come and, you know, do some kind of pattern. But as long as that area is not broken, you're still looking for that push up. You caught a lower low. You're looking for that next lower high. So you got quite some time to pretty much ride this out. And that's how you get it down into those good entries. Know when you're at, and then just having the confidence and overall just to pull the trigger because you know where you're at. You know, and that's it for this video. I didn't really want to drag along too long. And the same thing when it comes to exits. You know, if you're intraday trading on the 1 hour, you would just go into that next area. So like right here, where price found that floor, most current, you know, this could be that next level resistance that it would look for. It could possibly stumble here as well because it had a floor there as well. So got to keep all angles in mind. When it comes to exiting, you're just seeing if it's going to break through or stop. If it can break through, then you can hold the trade. And then two, knowing your daily pip goal. If your daily pip goal is 20 pips, you catch your 20 pips, get out. You know, no point in just staying in there. But that's it for this video. Peace.